We've been having a good time talking about all kinds of Georgia position groups, some of which we're excited about, some of which we're a little nervous about. Now it's time to talk about the best of the best today on the Locked On Bulldogs podcast.
You are Locked On Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back. This is Locked On Bulldogs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. He is Daniel. I'm Clint. Together, the confluence that is Talking Dogs that is now Locked On Bulldogs. I was harking back on X the other day. Really liked that. That was a fantastic.
Yeah, great. I just saw it and I saw it and it made me feel feelings. I felt feelings.
That's right. Hey, first listen of the day. We appreciate you everydayers that are here every single day, and the loyal third segment listeners. You guys are the best. We love you. This is for fans by fans. Danny and I are Georgia fans. We are homers. So all the opposing people in the comments calling us as such, we take it as a source of pride. Like, it makes us realize we're doing our job perfectly.
Correctly read what the podcast is supposed to be about. Thank you.
I feel like a disclaimer needs to go above. If ever we were going to get the like parental advisory statement.
Oh, yeah. The explicit content.
It's on today's episode because
Clint can't help himself. Once he gets going,
I will not be able to control what comes forth from my mouth because we are talking about the linebackers, Daniel, in this group.
Are they any good?
Oh my goodness, guys. I know we've had greats. Again, Roquan Smith is my favorite dog of all time.
Sure he is.
Guys, I may buy another jersey that's not Roquan Smith very soon.
So Georgia, listen, this is the unit that it's really, in some sense, I know like Clint could go on and he could gush about these guys for hours.
I could.
But in another sense, I look at this group and I think to myself, how are we going to get a full episode on these? Because it's almost just like redundant at some point. Like it becomes just like, what are we supposed to say? For other position groups, for example, we spent a whole segment talking about, Nazir Stackhouse and Warren Brinson and Ty Ingram Dawkins. Those are guys that left the program. When we talked about the edge defenders, we talked about Michael Williams, obviously, and Chaz Chambliss. We spent a whole segment talking about Damon Wilson, and he transferred to Missouri, and then we're going to have to replace these guys, and we're going to have to find a way to fill this hole, and we're going to have to find a way to... But we got none of that here, Clint. Like, there's nothing to say. Georgia has taken a dominant set of players. Their names are CJ Allen and Raylan Wilson. They are a dominant set of linebackers.
Yeah.
Georgia has taken that. And then they have added two of the most exciting players for you and I on the entire roster. We have been giddy about Justin Williams and Chris Cole for a long time.
Guys.
And oh, by the way, they also added Zayden Walker, 5-star true freshman, who's coming in to the mix. Like, I can't imagine him getting playing time, but other than special teams, but he's out there. Like,
but if you were to tell me this cat gets on the field in game one, I'm not going to be shocked. Like, I'm not going to be shocked.
There's just too many great players. There are no problems.
None.
There are no holes. Nope. We're going to talk about maybe like in the third segment, is there any cause for concern? But just big picture, like there are no weaknesses. There are no holes. And so let's start with the known commodities in the first segment. Let's start with CJ and Raylan, the old hats in the room. They're back for another year. These guys are these guys are coming into their junior season at Georgia, Clint, but that doesn't even do it justice because both of these cats got so much run as true freshmen.
Yeah.
That the level of experience that they have collectively in SEC football is probably second to no linebacker in the conference.
Nothing can compare to the experience we have coming back at linebacker. I know our defense up the middle last year was soft, and we had some questions and have some questions about the defensive line coming back, particularly the 3 techs, 2 and 3 techs. It's going to be interesting to see what they do, the inside guys, because we need them in a bad way.
Pay attention to that defensive line episode we did a couple days back. We talk a lot about it.
But any concern with anybody being surprised, out of place, or not knowing what's coming their way with these 2 guys at the helm communicating to the back end and the front end of this defense, Daniel?
No, the ability to read and respond, react defensively for these 2 guys up the middle, I just think it's astronomically important for this football team. And, extensions of coaches on the field. It's like Glenn Schumann is standing out there because you don't have one, you got 2 of these guys, Clint, that have played, hundreds and thousands of snaps of SEC football. And they're only true juniors at this point. Like it's wild. The level of skill and experience that Georgia returns and at the most important position on the defense.
Those 2, right? Raylan, CJ, right out of the gate. I said this. I went on another podcast and I said this was my comp for CJ. CJ is very athletic, incredible leader, brings a lot to the game. I think he has another gear in him that I would like to see this year, which is crazy because he's been very productive and very steady for us. He reminds me, if I was to classify him, and this is not a knock because I loved this guy when he was at Georgia. He was the best player on the defense the year he was at. Monty Rice he put a hand on you. You go down. Like you were tackled the instant he made contact with you. CJ Allen has a little bit more of that than he does other linebackers we've seen at Georgia, the Nakobe Deans, the Roquans. CJ hasn't exploded onto the scene quite like those other guys. Okay. But that's not to say he can't. And it's not because there was a lot of bad juju last year with the defense. Something was messed up. I think CJ can do that. But actually what I'm thrilled for, Raylan Wilson may just go out and may jump into the first round conversation next year by how he plays this year, Daniel. The athleticism, the size, the speed that this cat has. CJ has the experience, has the heady knowledge, has the leadership and the physicality and the tackle ability to meet on the point of contact. That's where he is. But Raylan Wilson is the guy that fits the eraser mold where a play goes sideways and he just says, I will out athlete all of you on the field right now and win still. Even if I'm out of position, even if you guess right on a play call and it works, I'll still wipe your butt off the field. That's what he brings down. That's what I'm most excited for.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit when we talked about the edge. Obviously, when you think about the losses for this position group, technically speaking, Jalen Walker is in there. Like Jalen Walker is included among the losses. So I don't want to get out of the first segment in case there's somebody yelling, well, they lost Jalen Walker, the National Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
You and I both know that the role Jalen Walker played at Georgia was complementary to CJ and Raylan, not to the exclusion of CJ or Raylan. And so I think that's what we mean when we say both those guys come back. The core of this inside backer position returns. You kind of alluded to, I have 2 hot takes about this position group, and I'm going to give them to you back to back.
And then this is great. You're going to give it to him. We're going to talk about it.
I'm going to give them to you. I'm going to give them to you back to back. And then, because the second one's going to transition us into the second segment.
I love it.
But you alluded to my first hot take, which is Raylan Wilson's better than CJ Allen.
Yep.
Full stop. I'm ready to say it. I'm here to say it.
Yep.
Raylan Wilson is better than CJ Allen. And Georgia fans, that's great news. Like that
Be
means
thrilled for that.
That means better than really, really freaking good.
Yep.
You ready for number 2, Clint?
This is gonna be so good.
By the end of the year, neither of them will be the best linebacker on the team. We'll talk about that right after we come back.
I am going to be in a full lather very soon, and I cannot help myself. Hey, you know what? You know what helps me? Supply House.
No,
Get the supplies you
help.
need from the site made to be for the skilled trade supply house. Whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. Easy to use website packed with helpful resources, latest product info, get the job done right. Plus, complete inventory, 200,000 parts, 400 top brands. You'll find exactly what you need delivered fast from coast to coast. Need help with an order? Supply House offers expert support in industry-leading services. Always have a real person. They have free Trade Master program, offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage. Now it's your turn. Join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, use promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com.
We're in segment 2, Clint. We've made it to segment 2.
And I have kept my tongue in rein.
All your clothes are on still.
Look, that is not a hot take, and I thought I was going to have a spicy caliente take. CJ Allen, Raylan Wilson, we are thrilled. These are two. Raylan Wilson should be all SEC linebacker by end of season. He should be a first rounder. He should go in the top 25. He's going to be another Nakobe Dean, Channing Tindall, Quay Walker, like the lineage of inside linebackers for Georgia, ruining offenses in the NFL will continue with Raylan Wilson. But that doesn't even touch, Daniel. It doesn't even touch the ceiling that two guys, and I'm putting them together.
They belong together.
The two guys that are absolutely lunacy on a football field. I saw a taste of it, and we haven't seen a taste of Justin Williams yet. But I saw a taste of it.
Special teams.
We did, yeah. Chris Cole.
And don't act like I don't remember G-Day last year, Clint. Because I do remember it.
He ran straight into a man.
Through would be more accurate, but go on.
He dismantled another physical runner like he was standing still.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. But
I actually have a thought on that, what you just said, but keep going.
I want to start with Chris Cole.
Okay.
Because, Daniel.
Yeah, let's do that.
I present to you a man. It's going to sound like I'm making a mythical creature up. Like all of a sudden we jumped into sci-fi land. Okay. This man runs like a defensive back, plays pass coverage on tight ends, wide receivers. I saw him run a stop. It was a go route that stopped and came back to the sideline, and he was in coverage the entire time on a wide receiver.
Yeah.
Like it was fluid, natural, part of his everyday routine.
Glued to the man.
Batted ball out of bounds, and he looked like it. Again, he expected it. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, look at that big physical linebacker because he's 6'3", 235. Oh, look at that big man running around doing good things. Wow, what a play. It was like, oh yeah, no, of course. What do you, don't compliment me. I didn't pick it off and run it back for a touchdown. You can't give me props on that one. Chris Cole is a rangy freak who runs glued on receivers, is able to come off of Jalen Walker. Yeah, go ahead. Go after the pass rush, Chris Cole. I'm fine with you blitzing from anywhere on the field. There's not an offensive lineman that can match up with you in speed and technique. Pass coverage, he's there. Rangy as all get out. He may convince another player that football is not for him any longer. He just may retire a man mid-game, Daniel.
Yeah. I'm going to make a comp, and it's a weird comp, so stick with me.
I'm
Ride it out with me, okay? They do different things, right?
Okay.
But when I see Chris Cole, I can't help but think of former UCLA linebacker Miles Jack. You remember Miles Jack, Clint? Now, Miles Jack played running back as well as linebacker. Like, he was literally like everywhere on the field. He was, I'm not sure. I think Deion Sanders was his coach.
Yeah.
Because he played linebacker and running back. So I think Deion contractually was obligated to be his coach and petitioned for him to win the Heisman.
Correct.
But Miles Jack was just he was just an athletic freak. Like, multiple interceptions, led the team in tackles, scored multiple touchdowns. Like, he kind of did it all. Now, Chris Cole's not going to be playing running back.
No. But
Chris Cole is like, he's not a linebacker. He's kind of like a corner that's 6'3", 235.
Yep.
Like, he doesn't make any sense.
No.
And that is when you have guys that don't make any sense. Let me list some guys that don't make any sense. Brock Bowers doesn't make any sense.
None.
People that size shouldn't be able to do those things. Jordan Davis doesn't make any sense.
Nope.
Right? That's who Chris Cole is. The versatility that he has. I mean, check back in when we do our episode talking about safeties, because we're going to talk about the star position, and I'm going to tell you who's going to be the starter at star this year.
Hey, Janelle, if you can't.
Hey, Janelle, Matt Rule called, and he said that after the spring game, you might want to transfer because you down there on that depth chart. That's a callback to yesterday's episode. If you weren't following along, if you're not an everydayer, I apologize. Chris Cole's just a freak. Are they going to rush the passer with him? Yeah. Are they going to drop him into coverage? Yeah. Is he going to play man? Is he going to play zone? Is he going to play wide? Is he going to play inside? Yeah. Is he going to line up in an inside linebacker spot and cover the running back out of the backfield? Yeah. He's going to do all those things. And the beauty is that he's going to do all of those things well. And an offensive coordinator won't be able to diagnose a defense based on where he's lined up on the field, because he can literally do all of the things.
Yep. Earlier,
I love this guy.
Daniel said, hey, we get Jalen Walker, player of the year. Yes, we lose him from the linebacking core. And when asked at the combine, where do you feel most naturally? He said, on the field. Just
here we go.
I don't care. I feel most natural when I'm on the field, stopping an offense from going in the direction they wish. That's all I care about. And we said CJ Allen, Raylan Wilson coming back as the heart and soul of the inside linebacker, knowing that Walker wasn't, in fact, the guy. Okay. Chris Cole is going to take over Jalen Walker's position this year. It's plug and play ready. And he, by end of year, may be the best defensive player in the SEC on Georgia's team. Like,
yep. He's going to play outside backer. He's going to play inside backer. He's going to play star. He's going to be everywhere on the field.
CJ Allen I don't think will have the most snap count of defensive players this year. I think Chris Cole will. Because any situation.
Well, I think KJ Bolden will of all defensive players, but you mean backers.
Backers, yes. Yeah. KJ, yes. KJ ain't coming off the field to save his life this
next
year.
Not once. If he does, I'm mailing it in. It's been fun. We're signing off for the last
come back for the defensive back segment of the position group breakdown, because you need a bucket. But linebackers is not that. Linebackers is where we make our hay. He is going to be snap count leading. CJ Allen will be second or third. Come back in the third segment, and I'm going to tell you why that is. Why it is that when CJ goes off the field, I'm still grinning ear to ear. But first, these.
Clint, you mentioned way back in the second segment, feels like a lifetime ago now. You mentioned that we saw a little bit more of Chris Cole last year than we did of Justin Williams. I think I know why that is. I think I have a reason for that, and it is pretty simple. Justin Williams is the inside linebacker of these two guys. Like, that's who he is. So let me just say this. Jalen Walker is exiting.
Correct.
Justin Williams is entering. You're going to see a 3-man rotation at inside linebacker this year. And it is going to be, I would bet my life, CJ Allen, Raylan Wilson, and Justin Williams. And then you're going to see Chris Cole just sprinkled all around the field. Sometimes at inside, outside, star. We said it. Justin Williams is your prototypical inside linebacker. Think Nakobe Dean. Think Roquan Smith.
There we go.
Think all the things that you want to think. He is that dude.
But Chris Cole in high school as a junior was winning national meets for 55, 60 meter hurdles. Like, the dude is just, that's what he brings. Justin Williams would have ran through every single hurdle, picking other players up, other competitors, and tossing them halfway across the field as he rampaged down the track. That's who he is.
He has currently on this team the best sideline to sideline speed of anyone on the roster. I guarantee you. This is the guy that will chase you down headed to the sidelines. That's why you want him in the middle, because he's going to diagnose the play and then he's going to turn on the afterburners. That's who Justin Williams is. He's going to continue to grow as his body matures. He's going to continue to add strength. I expect that this offseason is going to be a big one for him in the weight room, in the dining hall, in the conditioning programs. He's going to continue to add to his frame, but he is your prototypical inside linebacker. And I'm just here to tell you, I think he will be one of the 2 best inside linebackers on the team by the end of the season, and he might be the best inside linebacker on this team by the end of the season. Chris Cole might get more snaps than anybody else, and Justin Williams might be the best of the group by the time the season ends. I'm not saying that CJ Allen is going to get benched, because that's not how this is going to work. There's going to be a 3-man rotation.
Thank you.
All year long. And Chris Cole's going to be sprinkled in there at various positions. So really it'll be 4-man, but it won't really be a true 4-man rotation. 3-man rotation plus Chris Cole all year long. I'm just here to tell you that Justin Williams right now is man number 3 in that rotation. But check back with me the week before the Georgia Tech game and ask me who man number 3 is in that rotation. And I'm just willing to bet you that it ain't going to be Justin Williams. I'm feeling ever so good about these 2 young redshirt freshmen or true sophomore linebackers, Chris Cole and Justin Williams.
I don't like saying this because it pains me to say and get my hopes up. But when you look at the comps, when you look at his film in high school, kid out of Texas, playing linebacker coming to Georgia. Okay, you don't get to play linebacker in the state of Texas.
Nope.
Without being the baddest of men on the field. Like, just straight up. Okay.
Yep.
These cats are built different. He comes to Georgia. He does have a track of straight line speed, sideline to sideline. He is the true eraser. I talked about Raylan having athletic ability. Justin is the guy that doesn't move on the snap of the ball, is not a guy that needs a cheat step. Sometimes you see linebackers taking a step one way or the other. He doesn't need.
He can lean away just to be safe.
And he's still going to make up for it. He's going to impress you with an alley stoppage where it looks like when the play starts to develop, a running back seems is going to
go no. The first words out of your mouth are going to be, oh no.
Oh no. Who blew the edge over there? We're toast. And all of a sudden he'll go for a 3-yard gain as out of nowhere from the side of the camera comes flying in Justin Williams. That's who this guy is. It is Roquan Smith. Guys, this is the closest we've had to Roquan Smith ability and playing style. since Roquan. Nakobe was his own person. Nakobe had, I think, incredible leadership and incredible headiness, and he was able to go straight line a little bit more. Sideline to sidelines, I think, was a little harder for Nakobe at times than Roquan. That's not going to be a problem with Williams.
I mean, we didn't even, we haven't even talked about Zayden Walker.
My gosh.
Number 1 linebacker in the class this year, 5-star. I mean, kid that we were both, when he signed, we were both absolutely over the moon.
Yes.
This kid. And you just see the formula, right? You see what Georgia is doing. Glenn Schumann, God bless you, sir. I don't know what we did to deserve you, but whatever it was,
whatever
I'm glad it
hedge
happened.
needs whatever place, I will put it there for you. Okay, sir.
This unit is absolutely, if there is a weakness, Clint,
Okay.
it is what?
That I don't know. I'm not trying to be the fan. I don't know.
I got one for you then. I
think if I were to stretch,
okay,
it would be up the middle run defense. Just straight up the middle, straight coming at you, run defense stoppage. Because I think that we just talked about sideline to sideline with Williams. Chris Cole is that athletic freak. I think if you got a bigger body guy, maybe the technique, because when you can't out athlete somebody right in a phone booth, you got to use hand placement, hand technique. You got to have that. That might be a B+ for this group, not an A+, where I think every other aspect to me is an A+. That's where I might nitpick, would be just straight up the gut coming at you, guard busts out of his blocks, and you have to fight him off, do a little shiver and displace him and get to the ball carrier. But I don't think by much. That'd be my one maybe critique. What's yours?
I don't see that necessarily as a huge deficit. For me, it's pass coverage up the middle. It's tight ends. It's stuff over the middle. We all know CJ Allen's a liability in pass coverage. I think Raylan Wilson's a liability in pass coverage. We talked about Chris Cole and what he's able to do, but I think the fact of the matter is you're going to see Chris Cole more flexed out at the star or something like that. You're going to see him out in the pattern defending the pass. I think when you get tight ends coming over the middle, I think you get backs leaking out over the middle. I think when you get these matchups against especially CJ and Raylan,
yes,
that's a liability for this unit. And it's CJ's biggest liability that we've seen. And so I think that's something you have to look at and you have to be a little bit concerned with. As strong as much as we like KJ, on the second level back there, over the middle, I do think there's Georgia the short middle might be a desirable place to look to throw the ball, right? The mid level over the between the hashes might be a place that offensive coordinators look to target.
That's why I gave CJ the Monty Rice. I love Monty Rice, but he couldn't hack it at covering nobody. If you had to turn into a 45-degree climb to gain speed and gain yardage on a dig somewhere by a tight end or a crossing route, it was over. Like you're just like, well, that's going to be 15 against Monty. CJ has that same exact thing. You're right. That is a liability for him.
I think even with those liabilities, Clint, I cannot with a straight face look at this unit and give it anything other than an A+.
It's an A+.
You call me whatever you want. It's an A+.
It's the best unit in the SEC, hands down. Sorry, I don't even care.
I am not sorry, and I don't care. And you can argue with me all you want. I'm glad it's on my team. I'll tell you that. And you wish it was on your team. So that tells me all I need to know.
That's exactly right. He is Daniel. I'm Clint. This is Locked On Bulldogs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. We'll see you guys later.
See ya.